It's Tuesday, May 6th.
I don't know, he's coming to see me. I'm not sure what he wants to see me about.
The trade war, sovereignty, the future of Canada, U.S. relations. There is plenty to discuss at the meeting between Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Donald Trump today.
I've repeatedly stated I do not support Alberta separating from Canada.
Referendum rhetoric. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she is open to a provincial referendum next year if there are enough petition signatures.
I figured it was getting pretty serious when, for one thing, the plumes of black smoke started to rise.
Containment effort. Crews working overnight have a wildfire near Grand Prairie mostly under control.
Dropping it back for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Big rebound in front. Will he score?
Flying start. The Maple Leafs hold on to take a wild game one over the Panthers. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
I'm Kelsey McEwen. Great to have you back.
Yeah, nice to be back.
I know. I was listening to the game, I was introducing my kids to listening to the game on the radio. Because it's such a different experience.
Yes.
Also, because I was driving around picking them up from all the activities. But it's so exciting when you listen and you can't see anything. Anyway, I didn't get to stay up till the end of the game, but I've got all the highlights because it was a late one for everybody. All right, let's get to some of the other highlights in terms of news. Prime Minister Carney's in Washington today for a high-stakes meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump.
Everybody does. They all want to make a deal because we have something that they all want.
Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, Public Safety Minister David McGuinty, and International Trade Minister Dominique LeBlanc are all part of this trip. They're expected to be part of a working lunch with the two leaders. As for what the leaders will talk about, security and trade, likely high on the list. Keep in mind, this is the first meeting between the two of them. Prime Minister Mark Carney has said he expects ups and downs in finding a new path with the U.S. The NDP have picked BC MP Don Davies to be their interim leader. Davies replaces former leader Jagmeet Singh for now, after Jagmeet Singh lost his own riding in the election, and the NDP, of course, losing official party status in last week's federal election. Davies led NDP negotiations with the Liberal government to advance dental care and pharmacare legislation while serving as health critic in the last session of Parliament. Not clear yet when the party will hold an official leadership contest. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is expected to face the media today, a day after she made a separation referendum a key point in an address on Monday.
The vast majority of these individuals are not fringe voices to be marginalized or vilified. They are loyal Albertans. They are quite literally our friends and neighbors who've just had enough of having their livelihoods and prosperity attacked by a hostile federal government.
So Premier Smith then says she does not support Alberta separating from Canada. However, the Premier says she's open to putting that question on a referendum next year, but only if Albertans have enough signatures on a citizen-led petition. Last week, Premier Smith's government put forward legislation that would make it easier for voters to force a referendum. That move has been heavily criticized by First Nations leaders for breaching their treaty rights. The complainant will be back on the stand today under cross-examination in the sexual assault trial of 5 World Junior hockey players. A warning for our viewers, the details could be disturbing to some people. On Monday, the court heard more from the woman known only as EM. She says she was, quote, numb and on autopilot when going through sexual acts with men she didn't know. She says she went back to the hotel with Michael McLeod, where they had consensual sex. But shortly after that, she says she got up and started texting. Then other men entered the room. The court was shown 2 cell phone videos, including one where EM broadly consents to the activity. However, she testified she has no memory of the videos and just wanted to get out of the room. Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Carter Hart, Michael McLeod, Alex Formanton have all pleaded not guilty to sexual assault. McLeod has also pleaded not guilty to being a party to the offense. The cross-examination continues today. Officials say a wildfire burning near Grand Prairie is now mostly contained. Crews worked all night, putting out hot spots, the remaining ones. The fire is about 1 square kilometer in size. Officials say they're optimistic that this could soon be classified as being held, meaning it's not going to grow. At one point, though, the fire got really close as 4 kilometers to Grand Prairie. People living in about 50 homes were forced out. They were allowed to go back last night. Grand Prairie's fire chief says there is no immediate risk to the city. A whooping cough outbreak in New Brunswick has been declared officially over. More than 1,000 cases were reported since June of last year. 9 people have been hospitalized, no deaths reported. New Brunswick's top doctor says, vaccines played a critical role in controlling the spread of infection. In other news, Canada's Wonderland is being accused of advertising misleading prices online. Yeah, it's called drip pricing. The claim comes from the Federal Competition Bureau. The Bureau says the amusement park in Vaughan is advertising prices without its mandatory booking fee. So that fee can cost as much as $9.99. Wonderland calls the allegations unfounded. Last year, Cineplex was actually ordered to pay a $30 million fine in a similar case. To sports news, the Leafs have started the second round with a win.
Jake McCabe and the Leafs are going to get the puck out at center, and nice has a breakaway. He's in a goal.
And the Leafs held on to beat the Panthers 5-4 in Game 1. Nylander opening the scoring just 33 seconds after puck drop. Added a second goal a few minutes later. A third period surge from Florida put a scare into everybody, but they held on. The win wasn't the main storyline, though, after.
Able to keep that out. Kachuk again. Bennett, another jam. Benoit sends it to the boards. Penalty done. Stolars is down.
So it was a solid start to the series, obviously, for the goalie. Stolars came to a scary end in the second, though, after an elbow to the head from Panthers forward Sam Bennett. Shortly after, Stolars was replaced in goal by Joseph Wall. Stolars left the arena on a stretcher, was taken to the hospital. Bennett didn't receive a penalty, so we'll see how he is today. Now, before the game, the NHL held its draft lottery.
The first overall selection in the 2025 Upper Deck NHL Draft belongs to the New York Islanders.
The Islanders jumping 9 spots to win the first overall pick. Odds of that happening were 3.5%. Utah, the other big winner, they jumped to the maximum 10 spots to pick 4th. The 2025 draft starts on June 27th. The Kentucky Derby wasn't the only big race over the weekend. Look at this.
She is running. The Dachshunds are dashing. It comes down to the line. Number 13, Blazing Brick has finally done it.
These hot dogs hit the field at halftime of Atletico Ottawa versus Pacific FC in the Canadian Premier League. This is so great. Blazing Brick ended the race on top, podium 1 year after finishing outside of the top 3. It was very staccato the way I just read that. She and her owner were rewarded with a gift basket full of doggy treats. Her owner got doggy treats. How lovely for her.